is Jovi, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How are you all doing today? I hope you are having an amazing day. I know I am. Before we begin, please don't forget to like this video. Like it now, because you're going to forget to follow me on my social media platforms. I'm Jovi Beauty. I'm Jovi Beauty on all platforms. Please follow. Please subscribe. Oh my goodness gracious. Listen, like I said, before we begin, hold up. Where is it? Follow me on my social media platform. Okay. Support. And go over to my website, jovibeauty.com, to get you one of our dope ass scarves. I'm wearing one today, and one of our other nice pieces of merchandise. Now, if you would like to know or get inspiration off of things that I am wearing, check out the shopping products tagged down below. Click the links and get you yours today, because y'all know one thing I know how to do is put it together. Now, y'all, today we're doing a video about something that Porsha Williams said during I guess she was doing an interview during, I don't really know, but we're going to get into it and get into ways of spotting men who are jealous of you. Okay, let's just get cut to the point. Men who might be jealous of you because you have succeeded in whatever you decided to do, and the why comes and ways to spot them before you get too entangled in the foolishness. Okay, we already know Candy Burris is going through this shit right now. Okay, she's having she's having a horrendous divorce, and it just started. Okay, she's already having a horrendous divorce. Todd trying to take her kids, allegedly. Todd trying to take the money that she had from before they were married. You know, Todd allegedly is resentful of her and everything she has accomplished. And I want to get into that because it, especially with women being so successful nowadays, you know, they're working really hard to keep us down. But we already know women are the most women have a higher number of buying homes. Single women have a higher number of buying homes than men. Single women are out here taking care of themselves, taking care of their children, reaching goals that a lot of men decided that they don't want to reach anymore. The whys or the why not is not our concern. I am not here to talk to the men's. I am here to talk to the women's. Okay. Side note, my heat is still not on. Side note, hot water is still not here. Okay. But the oven has been working overtime since yesterday. And the heater has been working overtime since yesterday. And I am in a place where I ain't got to wear a scarf or a hat. Okay. All right. I still got to put on some socks, but it's a lot better than it was. So shout out to y'all, because like I said, your brain does not work when you are cold. And when I tell you, common sense was not common in for me at all this weekend. It took my mama to tell me to go buy a space heater, and it took a couple of y'all to tell me to turn on the oven. Like, I ain't do that when I was growing up. The brain fog when you are freezing is a different type of brain fog. Okay, but let's get into today's show, shall we? All right. So we're gonna pull up Instagram so we can get a view. Well, not a view. Okay, here we go. Hold on. So you ready? Successful women attract jealous men. Listen, and I'm gonna say this. Let me say this before we even. Okay. I had to restart the computer. Hold on. Everything is just popping up on me because the camera wasn't working. You know, when you restart the computer, everything tries to pop up. But let me say this. A lot of these men don't even realize, let me take this off. I'm hot. I'm actually hot. Don't even realize, I think sometimes, that that's what they're doing. Don't even fully comprehend that they are resentful of your accomplishments and your goals, right? A lot of them don't even see it for what it is until it's too late. We're too deep. And the next thing you know, they're trying to take you for everything you have. All right. So I want to say that, because I don't want to necessarily say that, a lot of it is purposeful. I fully believe that majority of them do not. Well, we know men don't really have, in-depth thought processes of certain things. And I don't think a lot of them fully comprehend why they hate you so much. Now, you could be a Porsha Williams, or you could be the assistant manager at Title Max. You could be the girl who runs the retail, what do you call it? The building manager. Okay. And for whatever reason, this man will resent you. Okay. Regardless of what he may or may not have. Okay. A lot of them don't even peep game. So it's really hard to figure out if you're going to end up like Candy in a couple of years. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it, and let's see what we can learn from other people's experiences. Because, like, as I always say, I would prefer us learn from other people's mistakes than from our own. So let's get into it. Porsha Williams, girl, remember when Porsha was a silly girl? Y'all remember when Porsha was, I just got to say this. Y'all remember when Porsha was a silly girl, when Porsha didn't even comprehend that the Underground Railroad wasn't actually a railroad? Do y'all remember when Porsha was a silly girl? Life, y'all, life and experiences are very hard learning curve. And I would love for our younger girls, even some of our older girls who may have missed that part, or may want to believe so hard that that's not the situation, for us to finally get it without us having to go through it. Okay, let's move on. Let's hear what Porsha has to say.
Has a certain power.
Wait a minute. I told you I had to restart my computer, so I have to set the speaker back up. Okay.
Or has a certain goddess energy. There are some men that get with us and they want to tear us down. So we honestly all have to be careful. All of us women who are upward, we have businesses, we have things. We have to be careful, because even though you would think, oh, men are just falling at our feet, they actually get with us and then hate on us. They get with us and want to conquer us, want to tear us down. So we have to be very vigilant. We have to pray for a certain level of discernment when we date, because when men come around, you have to be able to feel his spirit and not what he's saying, because baby, they will run your ass through a tornado and you won't know what happened. A woman has a certain power or has a certain goddess energy. There are some men that get with us and they want to tear us down. So we honestly all have to be careful. All of us women who are upward, we have businesses, we have things. We have to be careful, because even though you would think, oh, men are just falling at our feet, they actually get with us and then hate on us. They get with us and want to conquer us, want to tear us down. So we have to be very vigilant. We have to pray for a certain level of discernment when we date, because when men come around, you have to be able to feel his spirit and not what he's saying. Because
a freaking man. Tell me, where is the lie? And like I said, you don't have to be a Porsha Williams. Okay. We know of men. I know you know of men. I know you know of women who graduated from, we've had this discussion before, graduated from college, and some guy wants to try to impregnate her to stifle her growth. Okay. Some girl, it's always, we all know of one She got into a top 20. She got into a really good school. And the next thing you know, some man, some bum ass, get her pregnant on purpose so she can't go to college. So she can be as effed up as he feels like she should be. Or he feels like, if she gets an education or if she has something, she'll be better than me. Like I was speaking about earlier, look at Todd. Look at Todd and Candy, okay? And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I personally, I get Mama Joyce and how she felt about Todd. And I'm gonna say for a long while, I didn't fully comprehend it. I was like, but like right now, and y'all know, if you don't know, my daughter's a Taurus. I am normally, I have it in my heart that I won't interfere in her life as she gets older. But after this situation, as soon as this stuff started happening with Candy, it clicked in my head that, oh my God, I would be a Mama Joyce. I would wholeheartedly be a Mama Joyce if I saw some man trying to drag my daughter, who has worked so hard to achieve everything that she has achieved, to the pits of hell to make him feel more of a man. Because that's a lot of it. A lot of them don't necessarily feel worthy, or feel like the world is, bending over to their needs the way that it has previously. Okay. Because women are able and willing, because it's not just being able, right? Because they're able to do things. We're all able to do something, right? With our lives, whatever. But like, it's the choices that we as women make that men are no longer making for themselves, because they just expect things kind of to be handed to them. And the resentment that they feel towards you because you are able to pay the bills without needing them, because you're able to. I saw this video of this girl the other day. I think she was speaking on the Candy situation, and she said, she's childless, child free, or whatever. And every time she and her boyfriend would get into it about something, she would just, she'd take a mini vacation. She would go to Europe or whatever. She didn't have no kids holding her down. She had enough money because she provided for herself and took care of herself. And he hated and resented her for not just being there, desperate and needing him. Okay? Because it's not like love. It's just, they just don't want you to be able to fucking escape. Wow. And the audacity of you to be in a position. Like, look at Porsha Williams. All the shit she went through with Simon. Okay, yeah, Simon had his little bit of money, and we ain't calling him broke. And a man who's trying to drag you down isn't necessarily broke. I need us to comprehend that. He's not necessarily broke. Right? But he's mad that you don't necessarily need him for every piece of rice you eat, for everything and for every wish that you want. They'll turn around and say, oh, they want you to be able to do this and do that for yourself, but then resent you because you're able to actually do these things and want them instead of needing them. You understand? You want them instead of needing them for your livelihood. I saw this video yesterday, day before, probably the weekend. I don't know. I've been cold. My mind ain't been there. Of this lady, white lady, blonde lady, little cute girl. She was talking about how, I know y'all saw the video. I was looking for it this morning, but I couldn't find it. She was talking about how she was a stay-at-home mom. She gave up her life, her career, whatever, to be a stay-at-home mom and whatever. And she used the American Express card, on her husband's account. It was her name or whatever on the card, of course. And that's what she used to pay the bills. That's what she used to go buy whatever she needed for the kids, et cetera, et cetera. And her husband just decided that he didn't want her no more. And he told her that she needs to use her own card. Like, she has a card. She doesn't even have a bank account of her own. Okay? So these men want you to be fucked. They want their life in you. They want your life in their hands. So when they feel like they can squash you And a woman who has something going for her, who he sees, oh, she got into a decent college. Let me, like I said, I don't even know if it's cognitive or if it's unconscious. Let me sabotage her life. Let me, oh, she's about to graduate. Let me do this. We have heard, I believe it was last year, maybe the beginning of this year, it was about 6 women. A couple of those women were Olympic champions, okay, who were taken out of here by a husband or a boyfriend who was mad that they had something outside of them. You heard me correctly. Mad that they had something, that this woman was able to buy a home, that she wasn't just fucked up and struggling, that she could just say, you know what, if I wanted to, not that they were at the time, but just so upset at the fact that if she wanted to leave, she would not be homeless and fucking destitute. Can you imagine? Yes, you can, because we see it every day. When they talk about, we liked it back, when our grandmothers, because our grandmothers couldn't go nowhere. They were stuck. I'm going to tell y'all, I told y'all about my grandmother. I'm going to tell y'all again. I'm going to tell you about my grand aunt, who I consider my grandmother, and my real grandmother. They were born in Panama. My grand aunt came up here in the 50s because she ran from her abusive husband. And how the patriarchy is, her father kept attempting to send her back. So she escaped to America. A lot of women couldn't escape to America. Or shit, even if you in America, escape these men, period, back then. My grandmother, her sister, okay, her children were taken from her. She went crazy, to keep it above. Her children were snatched from her, and most of them were sent up here when they were infants, because my grandfather wanted to be able to pull her strings, and it drove her mad. Crazy. This is not just happening, and that's a specific, those are specific stories, but it happens here. Women, when they talk about, we want to go back to the good old days, our grandmothers, y'all grandmothers were stuck. They weren't with your grandfathers because they wanted to be there. They were with them because if they left, their children would starve to death. And to top that off, because, in our community, we have community. You might be able to have left your husband a little something. If you had a sister or a cousin or whatever that could, that could help you escape and go up north, or whatever the situation was. A lot of these people, I've started to figure out, and I've said this before, and I repeat this, that when they say we are so strong and all of this stuff, and and they're jealous of our community and all of this, just in 2025, just like my grandparents in 1940s and 50s, when my grandmother escaped up here in 1950s, okay, my grand aunt, but y'all know I call her grandma. She kind of raised me, Just like when they were I got distracted. Just like the women who were up here, they were on drugs. They were popping Viacant, whatever. They were popping them drugs. They were drinking. They were being sent to fucking mental institutions because he might have wanted to marry a new woman. Their children were being snatched from them. They were left destitute and homeless. And these people, just like they do today, will send their fucking daughters back into abuse and destruction. Abuse and destruction. And she gotta eat it. I couldn't imagine attempting to send my daughter back to a situation where somebody is violating her because she has nothing else to stand on, or setting my daughter up to be in a situation that in the future she has to fully depend on these men. And if she doesn't, she will be destitute and homeless. And then I don't even want to take her in and help her get back on her feet. This is the situation that it is. We could talk about how we would like it to be, but until it's like that, that doesn't matter. We have to talk about what it is. And preparing yourself and preparing your children and preparing your nieces and your nephews and even your nephews, okay? Preparing them to be better. But preparing our girls and making them fully understand that if you open up yourself to a man that will drag you to the pits of hell, he will, in fact, drag you to the pits of hell. I know people who lost jobs behind men calling and harassing them at work, calling and sabotaging them at school, harassing them, creating arguments. Why? Because she might have an exam today. She might have a final. She might have an important meeting at work. And again, I'm not a man. I'm not here to tell y'all, oh, they do it on purpose or they don't. I don't know the thought process. I don't care. I know that we have to always put ourselves first. Teach our girls to always put themselves first, and to have discernment with who we allow into our lives. Because Candy worked so fucking hard for everything that she has. Todd is the type of guy who wouldn't even allow Candy to help pay for his daughter's college. You hear me? But now he wants to take everything that he has. When a man show you who he is, even if it's not in aspect to you specifically, when he show you who he is, 1000% believe it. 1000% believe it. If he could leave his own child to be destitute, to try to struggle, to figure it out, because I had to pull myself up by the bootstraps, then he is going to try to take everything from you. The audacity. And then right now trying to make it so his other two kids that he has with Candy gets the same amount as Riley. I'm not saying about, anything with the kids. I don't know. Whatever Candy decides, her money, whatever. I'm just saying he was able and willing to throw his other daughter under the bus. When Candy was trying to help the girl start business, go to school, he refused to help that child. But now he wants, because she had to pull herself up by the bootstraps. But now he wants to make sure these two babies, these two under 10-year-old kids have trust funds. Don't have to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, aka so he can allegedly, in my opinion, I'm sticking to it, live off of them. When men show you who they are, the first sign of it, believe them. Again, he doesn't have to be fucked up and destitute. You have to pay attention. You have to listen. When he talks, you listen. I talk to y'all. I talk to my friends. When I am around a man, I let him run his mouth. I wait to see if he even gives a hell about my opinion. That's number one. If we're having a conversation or he's just running his fucking head off. But I'm gonna let him talk more. Because I need to know what you think about certain things. I need to dissect everything. Because it will affect your life forever. Candy is right now trying to fight for her fucking life's work. Because Todd couldn't figure out how to drag her to hell while he was with her. Now he want to do it while when they're getting a divorce. He got issues with you working late. He's not for you. He's mad you took a promotion. He's not for you. He ain't for nobody. Let him be alone. You're getting caught. I remember, I told y'all this story before. I'm going to tell y'all again. I remember, y'all know I used to be married back in the day. We not getting, But I remember this girl. She was pregnant. This girl. Her being pregnant has nothing to do with that. But she was big and pregnant. And she was married too, as well. And she one day was like, we had the same major, so we had a lot of classes together. And, in between classes, we used to go downstairs, get some snacks or whatever, soda, whatever, And one day she was like, I don't want to be in your business, but, I've noticed that every time we about to have a final or a midterm, you get a phone call right before and you're upset. And I swear to God, until that girl said that shit to me back then, it did not click in my head that because, people know your schedule, they know when you got a test because you telling them because, you think you can. You telling them about your promotion. You telling them about your final or your midterm or whatever because you think you can. And I did not fully comprehend it until she said that shit to me. Y'all, I remember I had a pink Razor phone. This how it go. Pink flip. Y'all remember the pink flip Razor phones? I broke that shit. I was not even a week after she said that shit to me. Not a couple of days. It was still midterm or final week or 2 weeks or whatever. I don't remember specifically. It was years ago. But I remember I cracked the fuck out of that shit. You don't comprehend. And that's why I like to have these conversations. Because sometimes we don't think about shit until somebody says some shit. Until somebody says some shit to us. And it never occurred to me that is what was happening. And I'm not saying it was conscious, subconscious. I really think he was just crazy and it was subconscious as him just trying to sabotage. But that's not even here nor there. But once she said that shit to me, I could not unhear it. I could not unsee it. I expected it. I expected it from that day on. I was so annoyed and so like, oh my God, that I freaking broke my damn phone in half. Because what the fuck? This is real shit. This happens to you. It happens to your sister, to your mother, to whatever, whether you are making hundreds of $1,000s a year or barely making it at 30, 35, $40,000 a year. These men want you to not be happy, to not be stable, to need them instead of wanting them. And until we come to a world where these men want you to want them instead of thoroughly needing them for every bit of joy in your life and food on your fucking plate, you always have to choose yourself. So you should choose yourself anyway. But you gotta always be on your head need to be on a swivel, and you need to be paying attention to even the slightest bit of shit he say. Even when he's speaking about some fake shit that's happening on a sitcom, and he makes remarks, you have to pay attention and be okay. And be okay with being alone if need be. I would rather you be alone and chilling with your alone as in dating, and chilling with your fucking friends than be in a situation where a man is going to drag you to the pits of hell. How many women we know, older women, I know some younger women, but especially older women that are in bad financial situations, not because of what they did, because they had a husband that drained their 401k for some fake ass emergency or for something that could have been avoided. You know what I always think of? There used to be this show, I Hate Kevin, a couple of years ago, and it reminded me, I used to talk about it. I don't think it came back on, but either way, she hated her husband. Her husband was a fucking loser, and she put her whole life into him. He was running the money, running to this, running to that. We giving them things to run, and they can't even run bath water properly. They can't even make doctor's appointments, but you giving them your finances to run. Let me not go there, but. And she was giving him Always Hate Kevin, something like that. I don't remember. And, because they were supposed to buy a home. Come to find out, he was gambling away the money. Come to find out, he was doing all this shit. I remember watching when I was young, The Honeymooners. Side note, the only decent husband back in the day was Ricky fucking Ricardo. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I can't help you. Lucy. The only decent husband was Ricky fucking Ricardo. Okay, could we keep it above? I remember The Honeymooners and the amount of things Ralph did to financially devastate them. I remember how he lost the money for, I think that's where Everybody Hate Kevin got that storyline from that. Financially devastate them. They were supposed to buy a house. He didn't gamble them. Well, he did gamble it in a way, I believe, because again, I haven't watched The Honeymooners in years, but I believe, if I remember correctly, he did a stupid ass investment and lost everything. And they lived in that 1-bedroom Brooklyn apartment the whole fucking show. I think maybe at the end, they moved, but no, financially devastated them over and over and over again. These men who want to be, and you know who didn't financially devastate their family? What's his name? The one upstairs. His friend. The one he worked in the sanitation. I don't remember, because Ralph was a bus driver. That's the type of energy, I forget his name, that you need if you're going to get a husband. Somebody who's not, I'm the man, because I'm the man type of men will drag you to the pits of hell with them. Bad choices and decisions and mad as hell that you are making better lifelong decisions. Alice was a housewife and made better financial decisions than Ralph. Tell me I'm lying. If he would have passed, she would have been effed up, completely effed up, because she put her life in these men's hands, and majority of the time, especially those, I'm a man, it's my role to take care of these things. Don't get me wrong, I love a man that takes care of things, but I'm a man type of men they will double down on their destruction of you to try to prove to themselves that they are right and smarter than you or better than you. You will be homeless if they could make you. To try to keep you in your place a lot of the times. Most of the times. So you have to be aware. You have to look for, what's his name? Cramden? No, Ralph last name was Cramden. I'm trying to remember the neighbor's husband's name. You have to look for a man who values you, who is your number one fucking cheerleader. Like I love to say, he has to love you more than you love him. He has to not be stuck in a world where he think, well, I'm a man, I have to run this. You just got to be a woman and cook and clean and do all of this shit for me. That will put you in a financial burden and fucked up situation every damn time. Every time. Now, let's jump into some of these comments before we get up out of here. I do have a video prepped and ready to go. Hopefully, I'll be trying to pump out some more, but I do have a couple videos that I do have prepared and ready to go in a minute. That's not only. She said, I'm thinking part of the resentment is not only their dads not teaching them, but also they didn't have pressure put on them to be responsible early like us girls had to. I agree. I 100% agree. But again, that's not our concern. That is only our concern when we have sons and we have to put the pressure on them. Then that's your concern. But as women, that's not our concern. We're not here to continue to raise somebody's child because they didn't raise their sons right. Because his mama told him he was a man. He was a little man. He was the head of the household when he wasn't paying no bills and doing something or doing nothing. When his mama told him he was a king but ain't have no fucking kingdom. And being in a position with a woman who's putting it down, and he don't know how to deal with that because he never had to do anything to feel entitled to praise. She said, we can only all hope. Really, because a lot of women, and again, I'm not saying that all men who act like that, mothers ain't raised them right. A lot of women have tried. You know, there are obvious women who act like, you know, their sons can do no wrong. And we already see how those sons end up. And there's a lot of women who did their best to try to raise responsible men. But society Listen, y'all know how I am, and I've said this to my daughter. I'm so happy I have a girl child, because even with all the things that I've done to try to put her in the positions that she needed to be in, society, their peers are teaching a lesson of how to be worthless, but still act like they are worth everything. You can do your best to try to raise your sons to be responsible, accountable, and everything they're hearing from friends, from media, from whatever, is cheering them along for being trash ass dirtbags. We saw it when the whole Russell Wilson situation, when Sierra got with Russ, and how people were, the men were trying to degrade Russ because they wanted him to be a dirtbag so bad. Imagine what these men these boys receive from a lot of the men and people around. These men who are trying to degrade Russ are probably parents, probably have nieces and nephews that they teach to be worthless, that they're still deserving of praise when they've done nothing to deserve said praise, just because they are a man. That's why patriarchy needs to go to shit. All right, hold on. Let me put a couple people in timeout. Y'all, put people in timeout. Hold on. Let me give you. Oh, I can't do this. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Sierra, I'm about to give you a wrench. Hold on. Hold on. I'm about to give you a wrench, girl. Hold up. Close. If they in here acting like they ain't got no sense, mute them, please. If they in here being disrespectful as hell, get rid of them. Hold on. I need you to make a comment so I can give you a wrench, okay? Because I'm only seeing certain comments. So I need you to make a comment. Hold on. Let me see. Some people need to get the fuck up out of here. All right. When you have a moment, make a comment and I'll give you a wrench. And like, get them out of here. Mute them. Mute them, y'all. Mute them. I see them. Mute them. Listen, somebody said we're through when men walk away from society. See, this is the thing. Why do people have to fold for you to feel good about yourself? Why can't you stand up? I used to say this a lot back in the day. I don't say it too much now, but you got to look for a man that when shit hit the fan, he stands. He don't fold. He stands. He make appropriate decisions that is beneficial to his household, to the people he proclaimed that he loved, to his own life. And not just fold and expect her to do it, her to fix it, but still want to be patted on the back just because you a man. We don't get patted on the back because we women. We still have to work our asses off to achieve what we need to achieve. Why do you have to leave society? And why can you not evolve with society? You have had a head start than a motherfucker. Women weren't even able to open bank accounts until like the 70s. Barbie was able to open a bank account before women were able to actually open bank accounts. Leave society sad. Well, if that's your choice, then so be it. You're a folder. I spoke about this before. I've asked my daughter this because, just questions. You know how now, it's real hard to find, work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And men will, but this is not just necessarily now. Men will, because they are so worthy, they'll graduate from college. In college, they'll be partying, they'll be whatever. They won't be taking internships. They won't necessarily be get a job or do whatever. They won't do things to set themselves up or create the resume that they need to achieve, right? They'll have their girlfriends doing their work, et cetera, right? Then they'll get out. Let's say they want to be, I don't know, let's say they want a specific position, right? At a specific firm or whatever. They will only apply for said specific position and then wonder why, with no real recommendations, because they did the bare minimum, a lot of them, because the world told them they didn't have to, so they believed it. And the world told women and a lot of other people that they got to work 2 or 3 times as hard. So they created the stepping stones to reach to the position that they wanted, right? A man will say, I can't get this position. They have this, and this open. I don't want this, and this. I'll be unemployed until I get this up here. A woman will say, I want that position. While I'm in college, I'm going to try to work myself way up so I could achieve said position, or because this is my end goals. But maybe she applying and she can't get them end goals. She's still going to apply for this position to try to figure out a way to get there. So it's not about oh, it's not it's easier for women or anything like that, or minorities or anything like that. It's the fact that they put in said work. The answer is to put in said work. The answer is your life is falling apart. Y'all get blindsided by everything. The answer is, don't tell her you don't know how to cook. Figure out. We all ain't born to learn how to cook or clean or take care of our kids or do any of these things. We have to learn. And the answer is to learn. The answer is to put yourself in a position to be who you want to be. Now, if you just expect that shit to be handed to you for the shits and giggles of it all, just because you were born with in between your legs, then that's why you're in the situation you are in. And that's why we're in a situation where a lot of them are resentful for the fact that you worked for that, whatever that is, and they don't think they have to, and are mad at you for getting a raise. When you go to work and you do your work and you try to do more so you can, grow in the company, and they just do the bare minimum and come home and play video games. We spoke about this last week or the week before, what it was, and play video games for the other fucking 8 hours of the day besides sleeping and working, instead of working towards whatever goals they said they set for themselves, to be the person that they want to be, so they don't have to be resentful of some woman who actually put in work to achieve whatever the fuck she wanted to achieve, or to get as close to that as she wanted to. Again, it's about creating a you for the men, even though I don't really speak to men, so I don't know why y'all here, but creating a you that someone wants, instead of, in your mind, creating a you that someone needs. Do we understand? Like the Haley, we speak about this a lot. Yes. DDG ain't broke. Like I said, it ain't just, but the sabotage was real. And like I said, we have to pay attention to their previous experiences. When these men talk, you got to listen. You have to listen because they'll tell you who they are. You just got to listen to it. Just because he's not doing that shit to you now, don't mean you ain't next up, sis. She said, yup, a mom knows. She said he's an opportunist. As a tourist, I felt that. As a mother of a tourist, I felt that. When things hit, as a mother, I said, listen, because I'm normally like, but I told her, I said, listen, because I know how she is, I know how they are. They workers, but they, and she got that Pisces in her too. And no ma'am. No ma'am. Because I be damned if some boy who threw his life away, for the most part, who didn't put in as much effort as I did, who mama as she did, or who mama ain't put in as much effort into her son as I have over these years into my daughter, think he gonna drag her to the pits of hell. I be damned. I'm not saying that Todd mama ain't put in the work. I'm not saying that none of these mamas ain't put in the work. Because a lot, again, like I previously said before, we know mamas who do and try and, with their sons and try to create, and society just goes in and push out everything that they mamas try to embed in them. So I'm not, but I'll be damned. I'd be damned if my kid ends up with a Todd who won't even allow me to help, won't even allow her to help his, to help his daughter become the best she could be. But you want half of everything I got so you can live off of all the hard work I put into myself, or she put into herself, and her mama put into her. Can you imagine? No, ma'am. Mute them. Put them on timeout, y'all. She says, Sierra said, call me stubborn. My goals are number one. I remember a woman that called the ballerina farm girls or something like that. Her story about going to a ballerina college full ride. Yep. She went to Juilliard here in New York. One of the hardest colleges. She has 9 kids now. I was shocked. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. She's running. I think there was just news about her. She's running, because she's a creator. Yeah, she's a stay-at-home mom, but she's a creator. She owns a businesses and shit. But how many women are in those situations? Threw their goals and their dreams away because some man wanted them to. Everybody ain't a ballerina. Everybody ain't ballerina farms girl. Threw their hopes and their lives and their dreams away to be potentially replaced, a lot of them, especially, a lot of them, by a younger version, and be left destitute. No, ma'am. Absolutely. That's why this is not about race at all. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. So they could be, I was talking to somebody and I was like, they want to make America great again. That whole 50s and 60s shit, 40s shit that women were living through, is the reasons that there were so many serial killers in the 80s and 90s. Because when you see your mother like that, when your mother was drinking on pills, Vitakin, and all this shit, you know, while they were pregnant with you all through your life, that fucks people's minds up. That sun just popped up on my screen. That messes people's minds up. That is, in my opinion, not just my opinion, because I've read about that. It's a direct result. The serial killer epidemic we had in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s were a direct result of the situation so many of their mothers and their grandmothers were in and watching it. And they want to put us back in those positions. Hell no. My grandmother was bold. They dragged her. They talked about her. She was every day. She was that. She was this. She was that. I had to check my aunt like 2 years ago for saying something about her. Like, because at the end of the day, it was really that she decided that she was not going to let a nigga drive her crazy. She wasn't going to let somebody beat the sense, the fight, the whatever out of her. And she took care of me and the children of her sister who was not able to escape. Who were destroyed behind the same experience. She had enough courage to get up and come to this fucking country. Before the civil rights movement was even here, just get up and bounce regardless, and have and never be able to speak to her father again because the audacity of you to leave. She did that. And she is one of the major reasons. Y'all know Mama Beauty be with the shits. But my grandmother, my grandmother, she was my grandmother, is majority of the reason that I am the way I am. And that even when I have had setbacks in life, it was never, ever going to be a forever setback. Ever. I had that woman in my ear too much and learned from her, and seeing that you created a life for yourself that people refused for you to. People just wanted you to just stand there and just sit there and allow some dude to beat the ever-loving life out of you. Take it all from you. And she refused. And I love that for her. Tracy says she had an ex that got increasingly evil as I got further along in college. She didn't want me to be stable without him. Booyah. Booyah. No, the heat is not back on. I just have the stove on. The stove has been working extra hard since yesterday. The oven, I mean. Listen, I'm safe. I'm making sure I'm checking it. But yeah, I couldn't. It's 20 degrees here in New York. It's 20 fucking degrees. And no, I got my mind back. Nope, absolutely not. Look at that. I'm not even hungry. All I drank this morning was coffee. I'm not starving or nothing. Okay. I woke up and I wasn't shivering. Hello. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move it. Let's move down so we can finish up these comments. Like I said, I did make a video about Jasmine Crockett. Y'all already know. It's going to be posted probably at like 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm going to see if I make some more videos. I know y'all want me to talk about this Danish situation. I ain't watch it. I will watch it. And I'm thinking I will watch it and we'll have a show about it. Not this week, probably like next week, closer. I'm thinking closer to Christmas time. Everybody's home, so I will watch it. I heard it's like 67 parts. I don't want to make it. I have watched clips and other people's commentary on it, but I think I need to watch her whole thing to be able to and maybe take some notes to be able to come here and make a whole opinion video on it myself. I don't want my opinion video to be based off of other people's opinion videos. So I hear y'all. It's on the list. I will get it done, but it will probably be closer to a holiday. Why I gotta be a lesbian? Y'all people are crazy. You got to be a lesbian because you don't want a man to drag you to the pits of hell is insane. That's your problem. That's your problem. That's why y'all, that's y'all problem. That's y'all problem. I'm not a lesbian. But I ain't going to let no dick fuck my life up. No. Because after that, it's gone. Regardless of how, you still have to live on. Maybe y'all don't comprehend that. Or y'all just expect us to shrivel up and I don't know, and disappear. We're not human, or we're not, women. We're what do they say? We're expired. Just because you think a woman expired after she got a divorce or some shit like that, doesn't mean that she still don't have to feed herself, feed her children, be a happy human being. Why do you want her to be as miserable as you? No, thank you. They talk about Tristan Thompson, Kevin Federline. I think so too. I think he's just trying to yeah. And like I said, I personally, the way he allowed his oldest daughter to fucking struggle, to me, says I can't fuck with you. You got to watch how they treat, like I previously said, other people. Oh, just because he treats you good, he might treat y'all kids good, or he treat your kid good. How he treat his other? Oh, I don't, because my baby mom. All this bullshit, all that bullshit. When a man shows you who he is, believe it. Not when he tells you. I could tell you anything. I could tell you 1 + 1 is 8. Okay? When a man shows you who he is, believe it. His actions, everyone's actions, man or woman, their actions. A hell of a drug. Someone said envy is a hell of a drug. She said, I couldn't even get my hair done without him harassing me. Woo, girl. What's she doing? Yeah. We got to keep telling them, because again, even me, I knew better than some situations I found myself in. I knew better. I was raised by people who taught me better. And I still ended up in situations like that. The key is that when it finally clicked, all that shit came rushing back to me. it will, even if they don't listen, because again, I know my daughter gonna end up in some situation and I'm gonna be like, Lord help me, Jesus. But she gonna be older, and I'm just hoping that whatever situation she, you, whoever, we end up in, something or something in the back of our head that our mom told us, our grandmama told us, I told you, will come rushing fucking forward and save your life. Because even if a man doesn't take you out of here, which a lot of them are out here doing, side note, even if he doesn't take you out of here, he can still take your life away from you. He can still destroy your life forever. We only get one. We only get one. And ain't nobody else is supposed to be able to take that from us. So it may not come to them at the moment, but hopefully it's back there, so it'll come to them when it needs to come to them. Thank you, Bree. All right. We're going to get out of here. They upset, y'all. Let them be upset. That's fine. She said, which chat? There, too. I know there's two chats. But I see both of y'all. I don't know. I'm just looking in it. And I think that's what it is. Because I think a lot of y'all are on the vertical and it's the horizontal. And I think, that some of them are on the horizontal. Okay. She said, that's the scary part to me, dealing with that and think what I could have been. I would cry. Me too. I would cry. I tell y'all, I think about who I would be if I didn't get divorced. Who my kid would be. Oh, she wouldn't be who she is today. I wouldn't be who I am today. Child, you would see 45 on me. I'd be like, that bitch like 60. You would see it all over me. Or not even just him, out of other situations. So we've been in, I've been in other situations that were not healthy, that were not beneficial, that were not for the betterment of me. I've been in situations where people wanted me to move across I could have been, across the country to then potentially be in a bad situation, because if it went left, then what? Even if it went amazing and it was great and they passed, having to deal with and recognizing I'm going to have to deal with this person or this person or this person. They're going to make my life torture. Nah. Even if that person was great, these other people, I don't know. So even if your boo is amazing, and let's say he got a fucking toxic effed up mama, that even if y'all do great and everything is great, she in his ear creating situations for your household. What are you doing? Let's say something happened to him. She trying to fight you over the home you bought. Can you imagine? It happens to a lot of women. It happens to a lot of women. Remember that whole don't be a nurse and a purse thing that came out a couple of years ago, and the lady was like, her friend married a guy as they like in their 50s. She had her whole life together, etc., etc. He was but struggle. He was unhealthy, Now she got to pay his doctor bills after he passed. His kids showing up talking about, you killed my daddy so you could take his nothing, all of that. Why are you dealing with all of that? People trying to take your home because even though they know their daddy is a bum, They know he ain't had no money. Because they know he ain't had no money. About this is his house when you the one who bought the house. Why are we putting ourselves in a position? And I get it. You're like, in the moment is great. In the moment, the D good. In the moment, we got to think past in the moment and think past, oh, it'll be great. But like, but then what? Because I think like that. But then what? And I think like, what would it be 10, 15, 20 years from now? Who would I be? What would I be? Who would I be arguing with if you were to pass? For basic human fucking decency, who would I have to be in here checking the walls with? Why? Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She was the first example of you don't have to be the same person you were today that you were last week, last month, last year. Yes, she was. She taught me that. She taught me that. So, my parents, we ain't raised to divorce. We ain't raised. That shit was hard. This was hard. But when it came back up front, it came back up front. And Giovanni, what the fuck are you doing? That's when it came rushing back. Oh, bitch, it came rushing back. Oh, but you came rushing back, and there was no going back. There was no going back when that shit came flooding back to me. How she was able to escape. She went through. That's how I know so much about the civil rights, all that shit. She went through all of that. All of that here without help from nobody. Because she said no more. So yes, she was. Actions speak louder than words. Absolutely. She said, my old aunt, that's what I call them. They believe in driving to Reno. My aunt Catherine divorced 6 times. I don't want, like I said, I could have been, y'all know, I've been in situations where I could have been again. But no. And like I said, I don't think I will ever be in that situation again unless he'd have to be fucking amazing. Like, for real. And I would still be like, and I would be quick to be up out of there if shit was to go fucking left. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Bree said, I cut these men off for not saying happy birthday. So it's not up for debate to be a star in your life. Never settle. Absolutely. Fuck around if you want to. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, you couldn't. You were just stuck. Drinking yourself to death. Popping volume and shit to get through the day. Losing your mind. How many women back in the day lost their minds? Lost their minds. I told you, my real grandmother, she lost her mind. My mother didn't know who she was. My mother used to just see a lady watch her at the recess area in the school. She didn't know that was her mom until she passed. She didn't know that was her mom until she passed. And she did everything that the patriarchy told her to do. And the patriarchy stripped her of her fucking children. Absolutely no. And she just couldn't. She just couldn't. Absolutely not. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. We had a great conversation. I think we had a great conversation. Okay. Like I said, I have a video on Jasmine Crockett. I just gotta make a thumbnail in a minute. I'm gonna be dropping around about 3 o'clock, 3:30 ish. And I'm gonna see if I can pull off some other videos today to play some catch up for the paint job. Y'all see, I put her back up. I didn't screw her back in yet because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't think I'm gonna put the other picture we had up here back here. I think I'm gonna put that in my bedroom in the area. I told you I bought a chair for the room, so we can like create content in two different locations. So I think I'm gonna put the other picture by the chair for ambiance, etc. But I think I know what I'm gonna put here. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna put our girl back up here. And I think I might put something else. So I might leave her by herself for a while until I really find what I really want to be in the background. All right. Now, y'all know I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so sorry. These are the things that we have to take with us. I will never allow a man to drag me to hell. Never. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go get me something to eat, and then I'm gonna work on this thumbnail, and I'm gonna drop the video, okay? Because I made it, girl. All right. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, and as always, I hope you live your life like it's golden, because there's no other way to live it.